Do you guys remember when Donald Trump said he would find and deport violent criminals? Well, you need to know about Dahud Hanid Ortiz, because there's a non-zero chance he could soon be renting a house in your neighborhood. So first we have to go back to June 23rd, 2016, when Donald was crying about Hillary's emails here in the United States. Over in Madrid, a man and two women were brutally murdered in a law office before that law office was set on fire, in order to cover up the crime. Now, what did these three victims, named Maritza Osorio, Elisa Consuegra, and Pepe Castillo, do to deserve this? Nothing. The two young women, Osorio and Consuegra, they were employees of the law office, and Castillo was a delivery guy, and the attacker confused him for the target. Who was the attacker? You guessed it. According to the evidence and the conviction in Venezuela, where he is a citizen, it was Ortiz. Now, Ortiz is actually a dual citizen of the United States and Venezuela, but he was living in Germany at the time with his wife, and he suspected his wife was having an affair with a Spanish lawyer, a man named Victor Salas Coveñas. He was a lawyer who worked at the firm that was burned down. Now, according to the court records, Ortiz recruited a friend to pretend to be him while he went to Spain. This was back in 2016. Ortiz then used a fake business deal to try and bait Coveñas to the office. Now, when the actual victim, Pepe Castillo, showed up, Ortiz assumed it was Coveñas, the guy he thought was having an affair with his wife, and he then slashed and bludgeoned the three victims to death, set the building on fire, and fled back to Germany. Now, his accomplice in Germany eventually understood what happened and told the officials. And as this happened, Ortiz was writing emails to his sister confessing to the crime. According to the court records, he told his sister, "I did horrible things without wanting to or whatever. Believe me, people lose their minds. I did. I am responsible for everything. I lost my head and stopped thinking, and no one will ever forgive me for what happened." Now, what does this have to do with us? That's a great question, because Ortiz was born in Venezuela, but he came here as an immigrant before spending 17 years with the U.S. Army and earning his citizenship. That all came to a grinding halt, though, when he was convicted of multiple crimes, including larceny and fraud, resulting in him being court-martialed, jailed for 6 months, and fined $25,000. A decision he appealed, but that was upheld in 2015, just 1 year before these crimes happened. Now, after the crimes, he went on a run and ended up in his home country of Venezuela, where he was arrested in 2018 and convicted in 2024. And now, just 1 year into his 30-year sentence for triple homicide, the Trump administration brings him to the United States. A Venezuelan-born Venezuelan citizen convicted of triple homicide by the Venezuelan government for crimes he committed in Spain while living in Germany before flying back to Venezuela. And now he's been here for a week with no word from the Trump administration as to where he is, why he was returned, or whether or not he is currently free walking around in the United States. Though we do know that Venezuela's interior minister says that he told the Trump administration, and I quote, "they were taking away a convicted murderer," and that the United States, quote, "defended their murderer and asked for him to be included." And we do know when they landed that Marco Rubio sent out a press release where he said every wrongfully detained American in Venezuela is now free and back in our homeland. And in the process, he thanked Trump for their freedom. All while Ortiz's ex-wife and Victor Salas Coveñas, the intended target, and the many family members of the victims of the crime are forced to live in fear after Coveñas was specifically told by the German police that Ortiz was at a military base in Texas and that to their knowledge he was very likely to be released. Meanwhile, Ortiz's ex-wife in Germany told a German media outlet, and I quote, "there is a well-founded suspicion that Ortiz's lawyer in Venezuela intentionally provided false information by not presenting him as a convicted murderer, but as a political prisoner or even a U.S. spy, with the aim of including him in the prisoner exchange." Now, I don't know about you, and maybe there's a rational explanation for this. Maybe Ortiz will resurface in Alligator Alcatraz, maybe. But I can think of nothing more on brand for the Trump administration than a hasty deal with a sketchy government, all for a flag-draped photo op and a perfectly timed distraction from ugly headlines that ultimately resulted in a violent criminal walking free.